talk over each other even more in this episode?
Dave, just good luck editing this, okay? Just have fun, okay? It'll be good.
At this point, he's highlighted the whole thing, pressed delete, and turned off his computer.
It's like herding cats.
I'm Dave. I'm your beloved DM, your Dave Meister.
I don't think anybody's ever called you Dave Meister.
The Dave Meister. No, it's what DM stands for.
Is it?
Please continue.
Oh, God, how long have you been waiting to say that?
It's been in the show notes if you would have listened to it.
Hi, I'm Dylan. I play Maris. Well,
I'm Nico. I play Okri.
I swear to God.
It's
And
like a
I'm
game of
Isaac.
chicken.
It really is. And I play Frostglade.
Yeah, I'm Jonathan, and I play.
And that's everybody. All right, so we're
but
going.
no one calls you Jonathan on the stream. You're Franco in Discord.
You are Franco.
Yeah.
We're gonna need to make sure that happens.
So yeah, let's edit that one out.
Yeah.
Let me
Your name is what we say your name is. Damn it!
Say your name.
Not only do I play Cass, but I also play Franco.
So yeah, this is something we want to do kind of on occasion when we go through a big chunk of episodes. We're recording this December 12th. We have a couple more episodes that are coming out between now and then, but you know, it's the holiday season, and we figured we would get together, chat about how things are going, answer a few questions that have been submitted through a Google form. I don't know, where do we want to get started? We can do this pretty free form.
Yeah.
Or we can maybe go through a couple questions to start. How you guys feeling?
Yeah, I feel like structure's a good thing with this group, just to be honest.
It's true.
I'm tired as fuck, Dave. How's that as a good start?
Oh man,
good
it's a
start.
family podcast, Cass. We'll start off with one here. We are, after all, an Age of Sigmar Soulbound themed podcast. We had a question here from a baby Wampa. Do you all have AOS, Age of Sigmar experience? For those that don't, have you found the story, locations, enemies difficult to understand? I'll kick that over to, let's go Nico to start.
Yeah, sure. Do I have any AOS experience? I went to my local store for the midnight release of the first AOS rule set. I've been a fan of the game since essentially since it started. And other than that, yeah, I mean, I do, and it's very fun. I have a few armies. Dave can attest to.
You have too many armies.
I don't want to
you
say
cycle
what
your
I
armies.
do.
Yeah.
What is too many? Nico.
Okay, so let me go down the list of what I have. Okay, I have.
Oh no! I don't need a list. I don't.
Okay, 2 hours later.
We don't have that time, Nico.
I know, fair enough. I have 5 armies of models.
I think, and that's
That's
sold
what I
a few
currently
armies
have.
recently.
That's what I currently
Okay.
have. In the past, I've owned total of owned and sold is probably about 10 or 12.
So for someone uneducated in the ways of Warhammer, how many minis in an army?
How about you, Dave?
So unlike Nico, I don't use and abuse my soldiers and armies. I've had more or less the same army of lizardmen since Warhammer Fantasy Battles when I was in middle school, and then since then I have Tzeentch for AOS, and I also have Thousand Suns in 40k. But yeah, for me, I have a decent chunk of AOS experience. Yeah, anybody else?
Well, Dave, the
We're
thing
going
that
down the list, I think, in terms
Yeah, it
of
seems like
experience level. Yeah.
The experience I've got is all through Dave. He coerced me. There's a few times that he hired a couple of guys to rough me up. There's a lot of broken
the
noses.
twins, yes, we call them. Yeah.
But yeah, no. Eventually, I picked up a couple of sets of the Space Marine Stormcast characters, and I'm still not done painting them, but maybe one day.
You've got a 2,500 point list of Stormcast now, I'd say.
I've
And I
got
think
more-
that all started, and this is something that I think happens a lot when people get into Warhammer, is that we give you, people will give you a model for free.
Yeah.
So remember the Night Quester that I gave you from Silver Tower, I think is what
pretty
kind of
much
spurned that.
the first one's free, and then
Yeah.
Well,
That's how they
I
get
mean,
you.
I don't actually think it was that. I think it was more just you guys were all playing, and you're like, hey, do you want to come over and just watch us play? And I was like, oh, I would like to participate, and I guess I'm gonna have to buy in to participate. And then the ongoing joke between us is that I was like, oh, okay, well, Dave, you really enjoy Warhammer. I got into Warhammer. How about, do you want to try out some Magic? And to this day, Dave, I don't think has seen a Magic card.
I know there's land, and there's plane walkers.
I mean, that's a start, yeah. I mean, at
You
this
did
point,
that
why
one on
stop,
purpose.
Dave?
There's mountain walkers, swamp walkers, all
There's
sorts of walkers.
You have like an undead deck. Actually, that's my experience with Magic. I have an undead deck from like 14 years ago somewhere.
An undeck?
Undead deck. Build.
How about
Well, that was a good time, guys.
how about I think
Build.
Isaac and Dylan, how about you folks? And the question was like, if you have AOS experience, and if you don't, have you found the setting and characters difficult to understand?
Yeah, go ahead, Dylan.
I have no AOS experience. I have no Warhammer experience. My Warhammer experience is playing Warhammer Vermintide.
It's a good game.
Good game that kicked my ass, and I got so angry at people for just like hanging off a ledge, and I can't take care of them, and I'm just dying to rats. Anyways, I have strong feelings about that game. How have I found?
We're gonna have to stream that, I think.
No. How have I found story, locations, enemies? It was just kind of like just dive in and go for it. I realized I played a character who's supposed to have a lot of knowledge of like the like Age of Sigmar universe, which has been interesting, and I've googled a lot of wikis just to try to get up to date. I don't think I realized how brutal it was. I think like Dave gently introduced me to it with goddamn fish with legs, and then we did Crash and Burn, and I was like, oh, everything is horrible in the Warhammer universe, and I made a nice, happy character that somehow managed to reach her 20s happy. So like, some of it, when I say difficult to understand, it's just sometimes I have the mind of a fish, and so I have to frequently reference the PDF, like the Soulbound core book. Sometimes I'll look up, like when I'm doing research to like build out stuff for Maris, I'm just looking up wikis and whatnot. So
Just making notes.
yeah,
kind of thing.
look, I have messy notes on my character sheet.
Nice.
How about you, Isaac?
Yeah, before this, I had no Age of Sigmar experience. I did have a little bit of 40k experience because I interned at Relic a few years ago, and one of the big gifts of working in games is like this excuse to dig into an IP that I didn't have an excuse to look into before. So I read a bunch of novels, and yeah, really quite enjoyed that. But zero experience outside of this podcast.
Yeah.
What novels did you read, actually? Do you remember?
Yeah, I read a trilogy that were all smashed together in one big book, and the main character, I think, was essentially a mind in a coffin. He was like a psychic.
Oh, Jesus.
That sounds
Oh,
like...
yeah.
Was he a dreadnought?
That's Ravenor. That's the
That's the one,
Ravenor
yeah.
series. Yeah, that's the one. He's
Yeah,
an Inquisitor, right? Or something?
Yeah, and I really quite enjoyed it. I thought it was well written.
I forgot about Warhammer Online. I did play a bunch of that when it came out.
Rest in peace. I enjoyed that game quite a bit.
Pour
I
one
had
out
it
for the
on
homies.
Steam. I think probably not anymore. I assume it's dead, right?
There's
I
a
think
private
there's a-
servers. There's
Yeah.
like a
Oh, okay.
resurrection of it kind of thing. I think it's like
Yeah.
I had never heard of it.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh,
It's
of
so
Age of Reckoning?
it's Fantasy Battles universe, and it came out. I don't know. There's that era after WoW where like there's just tons of like MMOs kind of being pushed to market, and
Quote,
it was
the
made
WoW
by
killer.
it was made by EA Mythic, I believe.
Huh? Yeah, you're right, Dave.
There's also
2008.
Okay, that's
The D&D has like an MMO, doesn't it?
Oh, it's
Yeah,
got
they do.
Baldur's Gate. Does it have
It's
an MMO?
not, that's not
I mean,
an MMO.
Baldur's Gate
An
not-
MMO?
Yeah.
There's
No.
a Baldur's Gate
Yeah.
MMO?
No.
Oh, no.
Baldur's Gate's not an MMO.
No. That's what we're
You're
talking about, Nico.
We're talking about MMOs.
You know,
And
said
that is
MMO.
our level of experience, everyone.
All right, I think it's time to move on to another question. This one's actually for Maris specifically.
Hello.
I think. Hi, Maris.
Oh, she was here the whole time.
The question.
Dylan, can you get her on the mic?
Yeah, we're getting a caller in for this one. So this is from Emmett. Hello, Emmett. Thanks
Hi, Emmett.
for tuning in. The question is, how did Maris find Pickles, or did Pickles find Maris?
Ooh, I that's a great question, especially the I think that, truly Pickles did find Maris. So I didn't find like a lot of background on the story outside of that, like they can be intensely hard to I guess domesticate. I don't believe you can truly own or domesticate a Mistori. They're their own.
Can
right?
you really own a horse?
No, yeah, exactly. But and my headcanon is that Pickles was actually with her grandfather, and so she kind of inherited Pickles in a way when he passed away. Like he was the one that like essentially got the Pickles trust, took him on, went on adventures, like used him to like travel the world and do trade and through realms. When he passed away, she quote unquote inherited Pickles, but I would say Pickles was there kind of like an emotional support friend. I'm not going to say animal because I like to think that Mistori are highly intelligent, a little bit sentient. So that's how they came to be. So she grew up with Pickles. I'm assuming they live very long.
That's something I wanted to ask too, I guess, is because you're mentioning Pickles. First of all, you said a word in, I feel like you almost like skipped over it, but like the what is like the species Pickles is?
Mistori. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correct, but like they're essentially like cosmic creatures that live in the space between the realms, and like they travel between the realms, and they can be like hard to capture. Like you have to like coax them, trust them. They love treats. They react really well to kindness, right? So if you're an asshole to a Mistori, they'll probably just poop on you and run away. I'm building up a lot of lore in my head, and like something's gonna come out, and I'm gonna be completely wrong.
Well, one of the things I liked is because like we had an episode recently where we learned that like Pickles is almost like a little compass. Like it can like tell where the center or the core, like I forget the details actually. It is wherever like the center of the plane was.
Yeah, so it knows where center and edge of the realm, and it's a sky map. So it's going to show, a story will show the constellations, and as long as you know how to read the sky with wherever you are, you can find like what direction it'll help like point what direction to go into. So that's like when we were underground, we were able to say, okay, we know we got to go east, and that way is east. So let's try to take the tunnels that go east and up. Mm-hmm. But I mean, tunnels underground, like it's not going to map the tunnels for you.
Well, the thing that you said about like, you said that she got it from her father? Grandfather. And like he was a trader. That makes a lot of sense that like a trader would want to have a reliable navigational tool and possibly a companion.
Yeah, they're highly prized.
Pocket GPS, yeah.
Pretty much. They're highly prized by trade pioneers, like especially like the adventurers, like trade pioneers. So like she struck out on her own, and Pickles came along for the ride.
Nice.
Yeah, I like that.
It's a great question.
So let's go a little over Isaac. There's a general question here, and I'll kind of start with you here. Who's your favorite character, be that an NPC or a PC?
Oh man, what? that's a brutal question.
Someone else can tag in if Isaac needs to figure out. Yeah. Or barring choosing a favorite child, like I'm not going to say which NPC I like the best, or which PC I like the best. Maybe one that you find interesting.
Oh boy, even that's a little bit of a tough one. Everybody's character is interesting, of course.
I saw this question too, and I was like, I don't know. How do you pick a favorite?
You just pick a favorite. Everyone has a favorite. Come on, you're all being too nice.
I'll start.
I would normally agree with you, but this is tough. Yeah, go, Dave.
I can start. I think Lucius is my favorite NPC.
He's dead, Dave.
Was my favorite NPC.
All right.
Just I've always liked like, I don't know the best way to describe it, but like
suave bad guys.
Suave, like very like flowy, like character, especially like villains, you know. And I think that like he was really great to kind of interact with. That's always one of the tough things as a DM, is like putting a villain in front of the characters and not just have them die immediately. And I really liked, playing, like listening through those episodes, just how close you guys were to finding him. I see Isaac shaking his head on the video.
I'm going to be pissed off about that forever.
Yeah. Because there was a point, and just to spell that out a little clearly, like there was a point where you guys were in a covered marketplace, and it's been established that the ghouls, they kind of sizzle and burn in broad daylight. So at one point they cut down all the canopy, and Lucius is glamored to look like a normal human. And he's with them, and he gets the light shines on him, and before he's able to kind of like calmly try and get to a shade, he like there's an awareness check, and like they can smell like sizzling flesh smells, but they weren't able to figure out where it was coming from.
We just completely ignored it. Went, cool, sounds good.
Yeah, it was.
Flesh, not a big deal.
We freaking talked about it and literally just shrugged. I can't understand it. When I listened to the episode afterwards, it was just absolute nonsense doing? That we would let that go.
It's just like when you detach from a in character kind of mindset, you could take a step back. I think it's way more obvious, right? But in the moment, you're going through. So
in the moment, you're trying to think about like what to do next, or like what to say next, like what might be funny, what might be interesting to say. Like it's not like you get to sit there and be like, okay, hold on, everybody, let's discuss this like for the next half an hour and really suss out all the details.
But I'm glad that you guys didn't just like figure it out right away, because I think it was a lot more interesting this way. Yeah. Anyway,
he took my dagger that I gifted him because I'm nice, and like threatened an NPC. Anywho, yeah.
How dare somebody take advantage of your kindness?
Oh,
yeah.
But that's a good thing, I think. In we'll call this radio and podcasting, and even just like playing like D&D. Soulbound, games, like any of the kind of role-playing games, is just failing is kind of good sometimes. Like doing something dumb kind of results in a more interesting situation than finding out everything immediately.
An optimal RPG play, definitely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, without failures and failing forward, we wouldn't have had like a lot of the really good moments we had out of Crash and Burn, right?
Oh yeah,
if we did everything perfectly, we wouldn't have gotten so many like, oh shit, like this is awesome moments.
I have to say, I really appreciate, like, in that one moment where Maris practically died, none of you, like, being like, hey, you shouldn't do that because XYZ, because I completely missed something. And, like, that's those failed moments that make it just, it's not scripted. And we're not trying to min-max or trying to make our characters the biggest, toughest, baddest, strongest.
Yeah, I remember having a moment when you said, like, I'm going to charge forward. And I just had in my mind, like, yeah,
because I think
everyone, you, Dave, like, Franco,
yeah. Well, I think you were the last in the order too, right? If I remember correctly.
I see it. I was thinking it was just like two of them, and like I misunderstood the description. I was thinking they're not huge. Oh, they are actually way bigger than I thought they were.
I think the dodgeball description, you kind of imagined they were like
that's
about
what
dodgeball size.
That's why I was trying to bat it up. I will like. This is maybe a little bit biased because I've been playing with majority of you in here for like what 6 episodes, however long Crash and Burn is, but not picking a favorite character, but favorite interactions, and maybe because we've played together for so long. But Okri and Cass together, just like it could be a buddy cop. Like the way the two of you play off of each other, and it's just like this is just hilarious. Like it's just such a good back and forth. It just very organic, if you will.
Oh my goodness, say more, please.
That's all you get. But favorite NPC.
Yeah,
favorite
my God.
NPC, I like Baraka because she's just badass. Like
you always say Baraka, and it makes me smile.
Wait, what is it? What is it?
Fatality.
It's not it's not super different, but it's Braka, but you say like Baraka. Yeah. I don't know, it's just funny.
And probably the one that made me laugh the most is Gordon the Everlasting in our
from our live stream.
From our live stream.
I do like Gord quite a lot.
Dave, you just I would have to mute myself because I would start wheezing.
Yeah, he's a pretty fun character. Like he's technically a PC, not an NPC.
That's what I'm. Yeah, PC. That's what character. I said character.
Oh, okay. My bad. Mm-hmm. He's super fun. He's just like this really like
over the top,
spiteful, pedantic like wizard. Yeah. And it was fun to play, figure out the spellcasting rules for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
How did you find spellcasting?
I think it's fun.
Yeah?
I think it's really fun. Yeah, you have a lot of cool utility options.
Yeah, because we don't have any spellcasters other than
No.
the DM's character.
That's true.
Well, you never know. But
Yeah,
maybe
true.
things will change. You can always it's in the rule set where you can, expand your repertoire. You can either get more spells or start learning to cast spells. Actually, what is the requirements around that? I haven't even looked.
I believe, just off the top of my head, I think there's a specific talent that costs X amount of points, and you can get spellcasting.
It's like channeling or
so
something?
it's no, that's the skill.
Oh.
But you need to upgrade your channeling skill. So it's kind of the sort of thing where, if you're not a spellcaster, you would need to get the talent and then get channeling to kind of focus into it. But it is more costly. But anyway, yeah. Who else? Favorite NPC or PC or interaction or anything like that?
This is probably going to be biased, but just in the last Crash and Burn episode, Captain Grimrot, hearing, going from the recording to listening to the actual episode after you've done the editing on his voice, I was just like, oh, chef's kiss, just amazing. Oh, it's going to be great. And especially playing Okri, I'm excited to see that NPC more, and that kind of interaction should be pretty fun. Other than that, Wheezy. Just
Wheezy.
Never to be seen again.
Wheezy.
Never to wheeze again.
He didn't die, right? Wait, no.
No,
No,
he's
He
alive.
survived. Okay.
Yeah, he survived. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he might wheeze again then. Who knows?
Don't scare me like that. Don't do that to me. How about you, Franco?
I've been thinking about this kind of in the background as you guys been talking, and honestly, I was having a little bit of trouble, and this one might be a bit weird, but I think it's Pickles, and I'm gonna tell you why.
How's that
It's
weird?
because
I mean, that's fair, honestly. That's my second
here's why it's
choice.
weird.
Have you been on the Discord?
Yeah. here's why it's weird. Is because when we started off and you're like, oh yeah, and this is my little I think you described it as a weasel or a ferret or something. His name is Pickles, and I went, oh my god, fucking the name. I was like, oh, that's such a kind of a cop out name. And then I was like, I can't like this character based on that for some reason. This is all these things that were clicking in my head. I know. Hold on.
I appreciate the honesty.
Think in a millisecond, this is where I was, and I was like, I don't know, snap jerk reaction, and then the little fella grew on me. And that's all I can say. There was a point when I think Cass was talking to Pickles, and you were and he gives you a little kiss, and I was like, that was so unexpected, and it was just I had just such a good yeah, I had such a good genuine giggle out of that. I was like, oh, now I love this character. I don't know why. So yeah, there was nothing against your the character, your naming of it. That was my knee jerk reaction, but then from that low point, it kind of grew into more oh yeah, okay, I really like this character.
Aww, Franco.
And Isaac, did you have one?
Oh, was I supposed to be thinking that whole time?
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
no, that was your chance.
So I'll be honest. My favorite character is Frostglade, but that's because every character I'm playing is my favorite character in that moment.
Cool.
And I think that's probably why it's so hard for me to choose a favorite for outside reasons.
Second favorite.
Yeah, second favorite.
Your second favorite.
Oh, there goes my brain again.
I can answer that. It's the owls.
Yeah, who repeatedly get killed whenever I'm in combat in my place.
Wait, do you just keep replacing? Does Frostgrave just replace them?
They just move in. I don't know what to do
Captures
about
the
it.
new ones.
Oh, okay.
There's an open home on the market. The owl real estate agent comes by, glazes over the fact that the previous tenants have died.
Why
Again.
is it so cheap? Yeah.
Yeah, what a great deal. Wait, where are we going?
It's a deal to die for.
So here's another question here. Specifically, this is for Franco. This is from Discord regular and our favorite Bevan of all the Bevans. For Franco specifically, what is your custom archetype, and how did you go about making it?
Yeah, good question. How did I go about making it? I honestly, a lot of how I make my characters in RPGs is just based off of a voice or something. So I'll be thinking about oh, who do I want to make, and what sounds interesting. It's weird, but that's where I start is a voice. And then I build up around it. And this time around, I was well, this I've got a character in mind. It's kind of like a cowboy. I decided I'm going to go with a female character because I haven't played a female character in a long time. And from there on out, like actual creation of like the statistics around the character was pretty easy. There's it's pretty simple and laid out in the Soulbound rulebook, and that is kind of like going around your custom character archetype. You get a certain amount of experience to spend. You get certain like choices to make, and you just kind of follow that. And that's the kind of like nitty gritty about how to create that character. But in terms of just like the actual character herself, it was, you know, you sit down, I had a voice in mind, and then kind of grew from that. Dave always asks us, as any good DM should, give me a little write-up on your character, and that forces you to sit down and to think about the background of that character, and trying to think about like how they are grounded in that world, which I think is very useful. And it also helps him, I think.
To follow,
I think the question as well,
Oh.
sorry, is about the archetype itself.
In what respect, though?
Like, in terms of going off book, right? Because the other folks are playing, you know, pre-existing archetypes like Kurnoth Hunter, Aether Chemist. I always forget what Okri is, in Trade
Chemist,
Pioneer.
yeah.
What is the difference? Like, what is your class called, and maybe like how did you go about like setting the attributes and everything?
Oh yeah, that's a good call. So the actual archetype is called Cowpoke because that just sounded most apt for the situation. In my mind, Cass is kind of like a rancher, like a frontiersman, or frontierswoman more specifically. And I went through my skills and attributes and I tried very much like what would be the terminology? I tried very much to make it more fluff than anything else. So like any of the skills that I chose were to do with what I think that somebody on like a frontier kind of town might need. So things like animal handling, because I imagine she deals with these aurochs. I think I'm saying that right, like
Aurochs, yeah.
which are just big cows, I guess. I actually ended up Googling them. And I just set the skills like that. And then as for like the attributes, I went through and just said, you know, she's probably a tough lady, so give her a little bit extra body. She's probably a little bit clever, so give her a little extra mind. And then soul just fell by the wayside because you only have so much experience to spend.
Yeah.
I think it's the case for most people. I think we're a very soul poor party.
Yeah, soulless even.
Soulless.
Hey.
Nice. And like, I guess the question for everybody else, starting with Nico, what was the inspiration for your character?
Well, so I tend to play in RPGs and stuff. I've always really gravitated towards like melee frontline kind of characters. Tends to be like I tend to like playing like the paladins or the fighters, barbarians, that kind of stuff. And so I was kind of thinking like, okay, like what could I do and what could I like play that would be completely different than what I'm usually playing. I didn't really feel like doing a spellcaster because I didn't want to learn extra rules on top of the regular rules, but it turns out it's as Dave said, it's pretty simple. So maybe next time. But anyways, so I decided to go for something that was going to be more like a support class, something more that I could try and have a bit of room to play with. And I really like the Caradron. One of my good friends plays Caradron in AOS, and I just love their lore, their story, everything about them is really cool to me. So, and I was thinking like, oh, like that'd be really fun to play, like kind of a more kind of playing him like a bit more of a selfish kind of character as well. But yeah, I think the inspiration was mainly what can I do different and still contribute than what I usually do. So I think it worked out pretty well.
Different as in like mechanically?
Yeah, because like I said, I usually play like melee like frontline like damage dealer, and my first thought was like I'm gonna make a Stormcast because they're cool. But I was like, wait, hold back. Maybe let's do something a little different, and that's why I got to Okri. How about you, Franco? Not Franco. We already talked about you. How about you, Maris?
Dylan. You, Franco.
Shit.
Can you tell us your story again?
Enough. Yeah.
Yeah, you already told your story.
Me. Well, I tend to I haven't tabletop roleplayed like in quite a long time, but I normally do like a bit more nitty gritty, rough around the edges, and I wanted to have fun. Like I was thinking, this is going to be a podcast. I want to have fun. I want to be able to like maybe do silly things. So I kind of built a character that's a little bit more naive, maybe is a bit more carefree. Again, without realizing the universe. So it's great for character growth.
I think that's great. I want to say, like, your character can totally be naive in this universe. That's totally allowed.
Yes, totally. Well, of course it's allowed.
It's just the world is violent.
The world is so violent, and so like,
I especially like that. I especially like that about her.
It's a good contrast, and I just it ultimately came down to what do I think I'm going to have fun with? Because I looked at making like a daughter of Cain, like one of the priestess, but they're like kind of really dark and murdery. So like I already have a thing in
Maris.
Right? It is the anti-Maris. But I already have something in mind for like the future and even working like on a voice. But I just, again, I wanted to have fun, a voice that I could do easily. And then I just started riffing with some friends about like what would be a great backstory. And so like building out like why would she build, or why would she join like the soul binding? Why would she want to do this? And it just like grew and grew and grew. And the more I read about the trade pioneer, I was like, oh, okay, if I do this with like the tactician, she's kind of like a bard. So she's like a weirdly supportive character that sucks at healing, and just really good at cheerleading people on. And I kind of wanted to do a bit of comedy relief too. So like inspiration was mostly have fun, I guess.
Nice.
And be silly.
Mm-hmm. That's good. And especially like, I don't know all the details about like the fantasy universe or like the AOS universe, but for the most part, like all of Warhammer is just kind of like grimdark. It's all, you know, oh, there's a hint of light, and now let's snuff it out because that's
holy
motif,
shit,
right?
And it's been great. Maris is a trauma queen. It's great.
Trauma queen. Yeah,
it's so good though because like Dave is playing like fairly true to the universe. I'm pretty sure things will get darker later on. Like, but like I don't know. That's just a thought. The point I'm making is that like it's really good because then it gives you contrast. Like not everybody is like a soldier who's had his family torn from him, and he's got to get revenge on so on and so forth. It's really good. Like that gives more depth to the world.
How about you, Isaac? Inspiration for Frostglade?
Yeah, for sure. Totally agreed with everything you just said, Franco. So for me, being so new to the not only the system mechanically, but also the world and the lore, I wanted to choose an archetype and dig pretty deeply into it and learn those things. So I went with a picture I saw that had to not be something that everyone else had chosen. And that's honestly how I ended up where I was. I tend to play characters that are I'm kind of I think I'm a xenophile. Like the further you are away from me, the more I'll want to like embody that character, like whether it's video games or tabletop. So that's usually how I play. But in this case, I just wanted to play. Just happened out of the three of us. Pretty much, yeah. Out of the three of us, they sounded cool, and literally every character I read about, I was like, "Oh, I'm doing this now." And next page, I'd be like, "Whoa, nope, calling this," and I'd be typing you guys. And Kurnoth Hunter comes pretty close to the end, so I just ended up there.
Oh, that's great though. Like, but also to see like each one that you're reading, you're like, "Oh, I would like to do this. Oh, this." But like, what? So if you wanted to do every different, like, if you were interested in other archetypes, like, what drew you to Frostglade? Like, ultimately, was it just like the farthest away, like the most different from the rest of them, or different from what you used to play?
Honestly, yeah. I mean, being really big is a little level of uniqueness that nobody else has claimed so far. So that was really compelling. And yeah, all it took was for Nico and Murray not to play somebody big, and then done.
Well, we're all pretty short, to be honest. Like, if you think, like, I think it's Okri's the shortest, and then I guess Phallus is like what, 6'3", and that's the tallest.
Well, it's gonna be you got 2 Dwarden, you got 2 humans, and you got a Stormcast with Feral, and Feral's probably the tallest.
Oh,
and then
Stormcast
far
is super
above.
tall.
Then you have Then you have
Frostblade.
Frostblade. Yeah.
How tall do
Yeah.
Stormcasts get? Like
Who's
8
the
feet?
Who's the Stormcast?
That's
Fair.
Sam. Sam's playing that. She's only been in the Shore Leave episodes so far.
Oh, that right. Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and for anyone who's wondering why we haven't had Sam, she's just really, really busy with work lately. But doors open. She gets her time back again.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
I think those are kind of the main questions that we had for.
Actually,
for
I have a
this one,
question
but-
for the table, as it were. Hypothetically, your character dies next session. What do you guys want to play?
Ooh.
Like, what's something else? What's like your your second stringer, your bench warmer? Because I don't know if you guys, because I'm kind of, I kind of have that. I kind of do that a lot with RPGs, where if I'll play a character, I'll be like, okay, like this is what I want to play. This is cool, and then I'll keep going into the book and go like, oh, this is really cool too, though. Like,
Mhm.
and then I'll kind of have like almost like a character waiting in the wings, just in case
Mm-hmm.
anything happens, right? You never know. So I don't know about you guys, but like I have a character that's not ready to roll, but like a concept that I'm like, okay, like this would be
Kill me,
kind of
Dave.
cool
Kill
to
me,
do. Yeah,
please.
kill me.
Yeah, totally. The session's
Yeah.
gonna open and Oakrey's gonna jump off the airship.
No one's allowed to
Just-
die.
Yeah, but
That's a good point. Like, I will answer your question in just a second here, Nico. But
Mhm.
just to kind of say, like, to speak to Dylan's thing, like nobody's allowed to die. I feel like we should all be allowed to die. I feel like
Well,
you know,
yeah, of course.
I
let me
plan on it.
let me put it this
Right,
way.
right.
It's not even necessarily about being allowed to die. Like some of you will die. Like I'm actually like no, I'm
Three of
serious.
us
Like
came
I'm
close.
during Crash and Burn, like all three of you came close to
Oh
dying
yeah.
at different points.
Yeah.
And like it showed me as a DM who's learning the system just like how hard to push. Like you know what I mean? Like the first few combats like were very, very soft because I was kind of going like, well, a couple ghouls, when you're running something like a D&D, you throw some goblins at the party to start and they can hit hard if they hit lucky.
Mhm.
These ghouls died immediately. I think the first I don't remember what happened. I think like they just ran out one by one and they just got like insta-gibbed by like Phallus and Frostblade. I think is they just like ran out and got
Pretty
like
much.
proxy attacks. Yeah.
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 And I think not until like the fight with Sir Parzival, the courtier, is when he actually started like
Mhm.
doing a bunch of damage and
Yeah.
everything. So
There's a learning curve when it comes to like DMing and setting up fights.
Oh,
right?
100%,
You kind of
yeah.
learn
Yeah.
where your party is at any given time, and then like you want to set something up that challenges them, but isn't necessarily like cruel, right? You want to make it so it's like, okay, yeah, though you can die, you can absolutely die,
Yep.
but like if you play your cards right and things go your way, then you'll be fine. And that's a good balance to strike.
that's true. And I was also very worried in starting out because like I like it's related to Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay is known as a particularly lethal system. And I was expecting like Soulbound to be similar, and it certainly can be. But I think it's a quite a degree less. It's also I feel like it's less swingy. Like in D&D and in certain games, if an enemy crits you, like you can die. Like there is that kind of that scepter kind of or not scepter,
Separator. No.
the separator of death lingering
I don't
overhead.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know.
Spectre.
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 I don't know where
Yes,
you were going. I
thank
thought
you.
you
It's
said
an
like
S word.
separator. Yeah. It's
The
an SP
separator of
word.
death, the separator of life and death, hanging overhead. And I wasn't sure how to push that, but Crash and Burn I think was really good for showing how much to throw at folks. It's a great little start.
And to
Yeah,
go
with-
back to what you were saying, like you were saying how like Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay is a very like lethal system, and going off of that, you were like, okay, how lethal is this going to be?
Yeah.
Even just from the base, like just from genre, it's like two completely different genres. So I get why you holding back, expecting like, okay, like these ghouls are just going to mess up these heroes because they're level 1 or quote unquote level 1. But like since the genre is such a difference between like grim fantasy and heroic fantasy, it's like, like shit, never mind. They handle it very easily, and it's that weird balance trying to find like where that like Franco said, where that lies, right? Between
Like
easy
in fantasy, you're playing like a fisherman, like who's like hunting down some like rat men. So you can get stabbed and die, right? Whereas in this one, like you're a hero reforged by the gods to like this ironclad warrior or whatever, right? So, but sorry, you had a question we kind of got sidetracked from, Nico.
Oh yeah. My kind of answer to that was like during our Crash and Burn episode, like we all had our moment where we were kind of close there, right? Or I remember like specifically the Troggoth. Like I was like, oh shit! Like he just took away all of my health, and like I'm still fine.
Yeah.
I was like, I can take another one and maybe survive this.
Mhm.
But like just doing the mental math in my head, I was like, oh, it's gonna be one of those fights. I was like, this is one of those ones where like, yeah, you're gonna be pushed to the brink. One of us may die, and it was at that point that I was like, I gotta square away that I might like lose this character.
You almost like gear shift to like, okay, we're going in X mode. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Gotta
I
sit
was
up,
like,
all right.
we have to be smart right now because
Yeah.
like now that we have like as soon as you start to see some damage being applied, then you start to realize like, okay, I know where we stand in this fight. And I squared away and I was like, okay, I might lose Cass right now. Like, I've told it to you guys, but like, I don't mind if she dies. My goal is to make it so that she's been around long enough that it, her death is like meaningful to like an audience member or meaningful to like me.
Yeah.
And that's when like you can kind of feel like you can lose that person, and that was an interesting story to tell. But as far as like if I was to die next session and then build something new, I think I would go for either one of the Ideneth Deepkin or another Sylvaneth, because I mean Sylvaneth, because I really like plants, and like it feels like that'd be cool to kind of like be a plant and be like, we should like bring life back to this world and like kind of like
Be more
plant
like
more
healer
trees,
of,
kids.
Like,
I don't know.
That'd be cool. Yeah. Sylvaneth are cool.
I was just going to say, what a wonderful sentiment that you just expressed there, Franco, where you don't get that in any other media that I know of anyway, where you talk about, your character being around for long enough for it to matter not only to yourself, but the other players. Like that's not something you say anywhere else, I don't think. So I think that's just amazing.
Yeah, that's because it's not scripted, right? We don't know when we're going to die.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like real life, mostly.
Jesus.
Oh my god, you die
All
in the
right.
game, you die in real life.
But like,
Oh, and Dave, if Frostblade dies, I'm just going to quit. So
Nice. Dude,
but
Isaac's in
sides of
his
the same
trailer
coin.
waiting for me to resurrect Frostblade.
No, hold on. No, I think Isaac's onto something. Isaac,
pout.
I too will quit if I die. Now, if all of us
If
do the
you
same,
die,
then he can't
I
kill
will
any
quit
of
as
us.
well.
All right.
Just role player walk out.
Suicide pact? What are we doing here?
Dave can't kill us now. He can't kill us.
I'll probably
You're
just
proof,
play
Dave.
the opposite of Maris, though. To be honest, like
You
just
play
swing the
the-
pendulum the other direction and go
do
with
like
like
a-
So is that Bort?
that's
The opposite? Yeah.
probably a hag priestess. To be honest, yeah.
I've got to ask, what does the opposite of Mara sound like?
I'm not okay. No,
I know we're in hypotheticals now, but
I was
I'm
practicing. I was
curious.
actually practicing it earlier today, but now you put me on the spot, and I'm just gonna sound like Cass. Because when
Oh, just give it a
every time
shot.
I try to like practice an accent, I for some fucking reason just start sounding like Cass, and I'm like, what?
It's Cass, but more evil.
I'm not doing it.
I love so much when you guys like start saying something after me, and then
Just like,
you
ah.
like drop into the same accent. It just
Yeah.
like, oh man,
Like I think Dakila's done it, Maris has done
I've
it,
done it.
Valkyrie's done it,
Oh,
Brock has done it. Yeah.
it tickles me. Like it's just so funny. Like how like
it's infectious.
It
how
is very
infectious
Like
it
you
is.
said it.
Yeah.
You said it before. It is infectious.
Yeah, just
But no, sorry, not gonna even try. I'm not prepared to embarrass myself right now.
That's all good. That's all good.
Yeah.
Isaac, did you have a backup character kind of in mind?
He was gonna quit.
Oh, was I supposed to be thinking this whole time? Yeah, I will just up and quit. I want to look at what the other players are playing and decide on the thing that nobody else is doing.
Well,
There is a new book coming out too, as well.
yes, there is. You could play one of those. What were they?
yeah.
The Sinari Cathalar or whatever.
What?
Sinari
That's
Oh
what-
wait!
Sorry,
No, I know
the-
what you're saying. I
Sinari
know what you're saying.
Cathalars?
Cathalars?
I actually have one of those models. They're really
But
cool.
yeah, there are new archetypes coming out with what is it?
Yeah.
Champions of Order or something?
Yeah, Champions Over.
So
I am
they're
sorry.
doing-
You said those two words, and I thought those didn't make any sense. But I guess that is actually a thing. What was it? Sinari Cathalar?
Yeah, they're like the
Sounds so confused. I was like,
That's-
don't you know Warhammer, Dave? Aren't you the DM?
You sounded offended. You're like, how dare you say those words to me?
Is it some strange insult?
What did you just call me?
That's one of my favorite
yeah.
things to do as a DM, Dave, is to call one of my players who doesn't know the names of anything and to be just like, what the hell are you talking about? Because you get that moment of horror from them. Yeah, you're mean, Dave. That's really funny.
Oh, shit.
Well, it sounds like fun, and I'm sorry.
No, it's
Yeah.
it sounds like fun and you don't even know what it is.
It's learning new things.
It's like
I
I had no
Uh,
idea there was going to be
Grief
another
Ladies,
book
right?
coming out here.
Yeah, Champions of Order has like Lumineth. It has like some
Some
another
Fire
Sylvaneth
Slayers.
and some Ideneth.
Another elf.
It's got the Light Elves. It's a couple. I think it's got the Grimwrath Berserker, and like a 1 or 2 Stormcast. Like it's got the like Hunter Stormcast, like the assassin one.
Oh, the Vanguard guys.
yeah, like Neve Black Talon, that kind of style
Nice.
of character which is pretty cool. Yeah, one of those would be actually kind of neat.
Like one of the Hunter Stormcast.
Yeah, but even like the Cathalar, because like that's like your whole thing is like they had like a preview on the Cubicle 7 website, and the preview said that like you actually manipulate Doom to help your allies. Yeah, because like
Oh.
the lore behind them is that they're like essentially the well of like despair for their race. Like their whole culture, like all these like essentially they're like wizard priestesses, and
Suck up
they're the ones wearing like
emotions.
the veil, and they suck up grief and despair from like,
They're-
everyone around them.
Therapists in the Warhammer universe.
They're essentially they're fantasy therapists.
They're wizard therapists.
Yeah, wizard therapists like weaponizing, but yeah, it's kind of neat because you manipulate and use Doom, so the worse you do, the better she gets.
Huh,
like,
that's really interesting.
Yeah.
That's not a good topic too. Is kind of like where we're at as a full operating team on like Doom, because like we're doing every so often a stream following the Fateful Night supplementary,
Mhm.
and in that book it talks a lot about like when to raise or lower Doom, and it's like highly fluctuating like from scene to scene.
Yeah.
But in our campaign we don't see a lot of fluctuation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you guys had mentioned that like in Fateful Night, Doom moves around a lot versus the way we're
Mhm.
using it is very much as like almost like a chapter, like and
That's yeah. So I guess that's kind of my house rule. I guess is the way that I'm kind of considering it. Like when I see this mechanic, I kind of think it as an interesting way. Like I've compared it to like in Mass Effect, like there's like the Reapers are coming, or like in like a Cthulhu kind of game. You know, you have like your sanity
almost,
meter.
yeah.
To me, I really like that idea of like, you know, the world is a dark and perilous place, and depending on your like medium and long term actions, or I guess occasionally like a significant short term thing, like you can, you know, no longer be like this beacon of hope in like this, you know, the ravaged wasteland, right? Like things can go dark for people. And I just thought that was a really interesting mechanic to kind of just tweak and kind of impact things at a more macro scale,
Mhm.
rather than have another thing to kind of track like in the moment to moment. And I think
Right.
it kind of works better for in like the format of like a show that we're doing. So
Oh, especially our format where we have like almost like you said, like a Western Marches like expanded roster. It makes more sense that we have to have like a more reduced or like a smaller like not smaller impact, but like smaller bookkeeping, right?
yeah. I mean, we probably need to find a place to put our party sheet so it's a little bit more contained. Maybe that's something we could put up on like the website or something and
That's a good
maintain
idea,
there.
yeah.
One thing that I'm going to be posting up is I've mentioned it in previous episodes, but we actually have our hex map. So as you are all exploring, you know, Slagmar Isles, as you want to start doing more adventures, and it's going to kick off right after Ghoul. After Ghouls, we have this episode, and then we're going to have an Endeavors episode on Torlin. And then in the new year, we're going to start up doing the proper hex crawl. So you're going to be as a group saying, okay, we're going to this hex and we're going to, you know, see what's here, and we're going to try and, you know, stabilize it or whatever you need to do. So in that regard, it's going to be, and I think that we kind of mentioned this a little bit before, the stuff nearest to where Torlin is, like Torlin starts in like the lower left of the map, if you can imagine. The further you go away from where Torlin is stationed, the further north, in the east and so on, the harder things are going to get, and the more violent things are, the more powerful enemies and stuff like that. And that's kind of where it's more expressly a game, right? But that's the sort of thing where if you want to like just beeline it north, you can, but you're going to have larger severity of consequences versus if you're stabilizing the regions to the southwest. So I think we'll put up the map on the website, and we'll maintain that as you guys explore new islands. They'll be added to the map, and as they get added to the Storm's Mandate, you'll get a little seal on it. It'll kind of dictate the overall power level.
Yeah, to clarify, Dave made us a little map of the Sigmar Islands, and it's got a whole bunch of hexes on it that are just kind of blank, and any place that we've been, he's revealed. And he's got like a nice little like symbol or like what an island or area might look like.
It's not even like stuff we've explored. It's even like things that are like, hey, you guys have seen this in your travels, and it's like, oh shit, like you mentioned,
like you guys you guys have seen, I think, 2 hexes, but not explored them yet.
Yeah,
so
there's like a oil, almost like a oil like refinery kind of like it's that oil rig. Like there's the one that you mentioned was like almost like an oil rig and this like smoking volcano and stuff too. And it's like that'll be interesting when we eventually get to them.
Woo!
But
woo! I'm actually really interested to know if you guys will go everywhere, because it's it's one of those things where
why not?
On any map you don't need to go everywhere. Sure.
When you said if you guys beeline it north or like northwest or northeast, I guess, and whatever, if you guys beeline it to the farthest region,
Nico's just like trying to imagine like a compass in his head. He's having trouble. Like, which way is up?
Dave, just edit out that blunder, please.
No.
Okay, fair. It would beeline it north. My first thought was like, fuck, the moment we hit like a Chaos Warrior, it's just gonna be terrifying. Just like, oh god, I don't want to have to fight one. Like if Vermintide taught me anything, it's just like, I don't want to have to fight a Chaos Warrior.
How do you know there's gonna be Chaos Warriors?
I don't know, but I'm just waiting for that shoe to drop.
A Chaos Warrior is more like terrifying to you than a Troggoth with a big stick.
Well, because
right?
usually there's more than one Chaos Warrior. And there's not a ship waiting for us to like, we're not waiting for a ship to come rescue us. It's just like,
Hey Nico, we just need to do Forbidden Knowledge more often.
Exactly. Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. With
the more doom we can accumulate, the better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and the advancement of the rumors, threats, and fears track will be interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, we really haven't touched that very much, have we?
No, well, so it's the sort of thing where it's not going to adjust necessarily while you're in the middle of the adventure, and we've had 2 really long adventures. The little arcs going forward are going to be shorter overall. Like that, I think Ghouls was. I think they were both 7. Like maybe Ghouls was 8, and I think Crash was 8.
Really? Okay.
Oh damn!
Because this will be episode 20, I think.
Okay.
Already?
I'm probably going to be wrong on all this when it goes up. But that's okay. Yeah.
So when does the season end? No. Yes?
Saga?
Sure. Yeah. Well, so there's different things. Like Saga is like one little standalone adventure. Like Crash and Burn is one saga. The season would be like closer to like what a campaign would be.
24 episodes? 30?
No, I don't know. To be honest, I'm not sure yet. We'll see how far we get and everything, and how it all flows.
35?
Right? Yeah, possibly.
36?
I could see that being a definite possibility.
37.
I do appreciate what's happening here, guys.
I'm sorry.
Potentially.
No, I really do. I'm a big fan of The Office. Can I just say also that when you guys were using Soulfire and talking about Doom, I was like, what the fuck are these guys doing over there? And then I listened to the episodes. And I was like, oh, it's just one thing after another, after another, after another. Like, that's all they're doing over there. All right.
Yeah.
So Frostlade's going to fish off of Torlin and just take care of the fishing.
Ooh.
Probably.
I got a question. Because, I mean, Nico, me, and Franco were all in a big saga together. I haven't had a chance to be in an episode with you yet, Isaac. But I'm curious, and including you, Dave, in the sagas that we've been in, or just this season so far, what is your favorite moment or like top moment?
Let's start with Dave. Put him on the spot.
Top moment.
Top moment.
Yeah, like favorite part or thing that happened or just stood out that you remember.
Yeah, that's tough. There's some fun
There's
ones.
so many
I
good
think-
ones. We're just so
I think
good at this
there's-
game, you know.
You know, it's just so fun.
Just
Well,
every
it
moment
doesn't
there's
have to be
something new.
doesn't have to be the most favorite, but if you had to think of this is in my top 5.
Okay, so the one I'll go off of this. This is the one that came to mind, and it's kind of an inane moment, but I think it was really fun, just with just how inane it was. But was when Frostglade set the Griff Charger free.
Oh yeah,
And,
Oh, yeah.
that was so good.
It waves back. What? I still remember that.
I laughed so
Yeah.
fucking hard at that.
I love the energy Isaac took into his doubt. Yeah.
It's a pleasure to listen to you guys because I remember that it was just like what? Like you just have this
Yeah.
way that you're you have such great comedic timing.
Oh well, thanks. I do appreciate that. Yeah, that was a really good moment. I loved doing it, and then afterwards listening to it with the edit. The edits are always they just punch things up. I really appreciate that, Dave.
Makes the sound.
Yeah,
good.
geez, that probably would have been one of my favorite moments. Yeah, to be honest with you, I don't want to be super basic about this, but when we kill a big enemy and then getting to describe that, I know that's kind of horrible, but it lets you
No,
just
it's
sort of
satisfying.
it lets you fall into the power fantasy a little
Mhm.
bit and just how horrible the universe is.
You're sitting there like, oh, that's right.
Yeah. Just like that.
Well, you like the way you described killing Lucius was very visceral. Just
Oh,
basically
yeah.
like choking him out.
Yeah, you essentially, you just choked him out and just like threw him away, right?
Shh.
Sorry.
No tears, only dreams now.
Didn't Frostblade like rip someone's head off?
Oh, we joked about that, but no, it never
we
happened.
joked.
I
Okay.
think
okay.
Frostblade so far is like pound for pound the like goriest kill or like the most like oh Jesus like kind of kills so far.
Yeah,
I can think
probably.
of.
And I'm not
Yeah.
really doing it on purpose, but the
Oh yeah,
the world just really lends
I hope
itself
not.
to it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah.
also like the nature of his weapon. Like,
Yeah.
Cass
Scythe.
Okri are pretty gun based.
Mhm. That's true,
Frostblade has a giant sickle and a big slag sword. And I don't even know what Maris has as a weapon. To be
She
honest.
barely
Like,
gets to
saying-
use
Yeah.
them.
You know what? She's got her guts and her wit.
Pretty much.
Her
I didn't
personality.
realize, what does she have as a weapon? I don't know if.
She has a pistol
Does it
and a
matter?
hand. Does it matter?
Oh, you had a hand hammer.
A hand
right?
hammer and
Yeah.
a pistol.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna
Right.
probably introduce some spells with all the XP that we got from Grash and Burn. So
Oh, that sounds fun. Yeah.
Ah. I can't wait for the XP from tonight, Dave, by the way. I'm really looking forward to that because I want to spend like mad.
Nice.
So how about you, Nico?
Oh me? Okay.
Who? Me?
Oh me? Oh
My
yeah.
favorite moment?
Names? Who's that?
Names? What? Who are you? I think I have like a couple top ones, but like one of the ones, no particular order. Like I can think of like two. One of them has to be Maris getting the first Doom, and that whole like
Oof.
situation of like just like her, Maris like making friends with this dwarf that then dies in front of her, and the whole thing with like, oh, he's got like his family, and like, oh, he dies, and just like, and then like springboarding off of that, going straight into like, oh, you drew the attention of like a major demon of Zinj. It's just like something that was really good because it also like for me it's like it's that idea of like this is gonna bite us in the ass later, and I can't wait to see it.
Same.
Is what I really enjoyed.
Ditto.
I think the other one has to be, what are you? Like, we're the Soulbound.
Oh, yeah.
No,
shoot him
damn
in his
it!
tummy.
No, it was no. I actually looked this up, and because that was gonna be my favorite one, and it
Too
was
good.
well, honey, we're the
Yeah.
Soulbound, and then I shoot him in his tum tum.
That's right. And I just remember laughing so hard at that because it's just like this amazing, sweeping, heroic moment. And I can you can almost picture it like it's like in a
And
show
the
or in a
crescendo
movie.
of the music.
The theme is like the main theme is blaring in the background and the shot and it's like in slow motion, and I shoot him in his tum tum. Just
Any reaction to that, Isaac?
I'm gonna pout.
You're about-
Hey Isaac.
Yep.
Hey Isaac.
Yeah.
Tummy.
I hate it.
What was the? I'm kind of trying to remember the first time when that came up.
That was that episode. I feel like.
Oh wait, no, it was no. It was before that. It was
Oh.
when Lucius, I think,
Slash
sunk
phallus.
Yeah, sunk his talons into Phallus's tum tum.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
indeed. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, that was the first issue.
The first issue, yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely saw like in my head when that was happening. I think I remember giving it like enough time that Dave could cut it. I was like, oh, this is a good time for him to like put in, like in my head, I'm thinking, oh, this is a great time for him to like put a crescendo of music and cut the episode there. And then like left it for a second, and then I was like, and I shoot him in his tum tum, and that was like, I wasn't sure that was gonna make it in, but
it's the fact that you could hear like you smiling while you said it too.
Yeah.
I think about like not like specific moments in the campaign so far, but like more like scenes, like the whole scene where Maris climbs up behind the dwarf lookout. Like that whole scene was good. I enjoy it. Like, you know, looking back on it fondly, or like I enjoyed like the entirety of the scene where we first met Braca as an example, because like that was kind of a fun like
scene, yeah.
D&D kind of call back to the classic, like you meet your contact in a bar, and like that's how you start your first adventure. It's stuff like that I really enjoy. Another one that sticks out, and it's like so small and innocuous, but like just we made some breakfast in one of our episodes. Like we all sat down for like a breakfast conversation, and like it's funny because like in the background, Dave cut it up a little bit, but we ended up like getting to a point where Dave was like, I think we should move on, and we were just like all just having fun, like having breakfast,
role-playing breakfast.
And he was right to do so, but like that's like it's like as a player, it's fun.
I'll speak as the DM and editor. Like I try not to cut things that are character based or essential and stuff like that, but sometimes you gotta cut stuff. Like we never like change what happens or, you know, retake stuff like that, but
just
we do
sometimes it's excessive.
Cut some extra scenes.
There's a lot of sayings that I really like that I think back on. Like the scenes are good, but like hammies, like Creator's little hammies, or
ham hocks.
like the some of the
schoolyard shivs.
Yes,
the schoolyard shanks,
or Cassandra's one-liners, like "Cover me in breadcrumb, cover me in breadcrumbs."
Bread what?
Call me a sandwich.
Sorry, cover me in breadcrumbs and call me a sandwich. Like just shit like that.
I hate all of them. I hate all of them. And I say that lovingly, but I absolutely hate them.
I think another moment
I shied away from that a bit.
I love them.
Another moment I had that I just like, I was like, this is like just a moment of like, this is just funny. Was when we're fighting ghosts, and Cass shoots one of the school like child ghosts. It's like, oh, that's really sad. It's one of the ones that shanked you son of a bitch. Like, good riddance. just something about that change of like, oh, I feel kind of bad. Like, it's the one that stabbed you. Screw him. That one, like the way you said it too, is just like really good delivery. It's just like, it's just fun.
We just have fun with whatever we're doing, and I think that's the most important part. I hope that like shows through and on the other end, like from player to like audience.
I started thinking about the goddamn Frostglade and like and it waves back again, and it just started to make me laugh because like there's just really good moments. Like there's good chemistry, and it's fun. And wait till it gets really serious and dark, and it's just there's no funny one-liners anymore. It's just death and destruction.
Just like every podcast does, it starts off like we're having fun and goofing around, and like episode 50, we're just like, this is it.
Yeah, this
is where we stand. This is where they die.
A character I would like to see a little bit more of is Meetens, who appeared.
Oh yeah,
in a singular episode.
Oh yeah, that one never.
There
was a one-off episode. We didn't bring it to air. I mean, the recordings exist. Maybe if we do a Patreon, we can edit it up or something. Because that is one that we had Farrell and with Sam playing her in on. So it'd be nice to kind of get that out there. But there was a bonus episode that we kind of recorded. We just wanted to roll dice, you know, kind of out of a normal, you know, sequence of play. And I think that's maybe all we'll say about it. But I'll say it was very meta. But it was fun. Yeah.
I have one more question, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
When are we going to get a bloopers episode?
Oh,
Oh,
I
wow,
wouldn't say there's a ton of bloopers. Like, to be honest, like there's deleted scenes, I guess is the way to describe it. But
I just want to make your
like,
job harder. Apparently, go listen
I was
to
gonna say, like, oh
hundreds
my
of
God.
hours.
yeah, no, I hear enough of you all enough. I was editing
Oh.
the episode. I was
Okay.
editing the episode, the first episode of the Monster Hunt with the Vargolf.
I'm very
with
excited to
Phallus.
hear that because
Oh, same.
I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be
that's
fun.
yeah, because it's Frostblade, Phallus, and Bort, which
Bort,
we haven't heard very
yeah.
much of, and I'm
Oh,
really
I miss
excited
Bort.
to see.
Mhm.
Bort's
Yeah.
so much fun. Good old
Yeah.
Bort
I'm sure
Mortensen and his jorts.
Fuck when
Yeah.
when Mariel said the name, like, oh, Bort Jortson, my first
Yeah.
reaction was, fuck, that's a much
Is
better
it
name than
Jortson?
mine.
Wait, it's
That's my very
Jortson or is
first
it
reaction.
Bortson? Because now I'm confusing
it's
myself.
Bort Jortson.
Jortson.
Jortson,
Yeah.
okay. So
It's really
I'd
good.
like to request some fan art of Bort in jorts.
Oh god.
I think canonically he does wear jorts underneath his armor.
Oh, because he's a
Mhm.
never
I
nude.
believe we established that. Yeah.
Mhm. I feel like we kind of like brought up a topic and maybe it's worth just like putting it out there. But like how much is actually like cut from the show? Like basically
it's-
nothing.
yeah.
Like,
It's a good question.
Let's peel back the curtain a bit, Mr. Wizard of Oz.
yeah, I
Let's,
don't think people are missing out on much.
No, I honestly the stuff that's on the cut is not anything I think people would miss. A lot of that comes down to contradictions in rules when we read it the first time, and then we talk about it a little bit. Like if there's ever like if we ever say, well, I don't always do it because sometimes it doesn't make sense, but if we say something that's wrong and then we correct it a little bit later, I
Mhm.
just try and cut all of that because as a listener, if you're trying to learn the system or know what's going on, it's very confusing. So that's one of the big things that get cut. And then there's like big chunks on the front and back of the episode where we're just kind of chatting and getting set up and figuring out what's going on.
getting into the flow of it.
That goes.
When Nico and Dave
Yeah.
argue, it always makes it in.
It always makes
It
it
has
in, and I make sure that I'm right in the final edit.
Just edit me to make me sound
you give Nico the villain edit.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah,
done
the edit
dirty,
sounds
yeah.
really weird. You are absolutely right, David, and handsome.
It's like, Dave, that's just you saying handsome but trying to sound like me.
Handsome.
Wait, what?
It's my Nico impression. But yeah, like I would say that like there's very like there was a I would say like there's very few like also like I said deleted scenes before. There's not very many.
Mhm.
I would say that like one of the ones that is probably the most significant scene we've cut this far into the season is we did in Crash and Burn when the ship crashes underground in the module. There's actually a few different areas you can go to in the caves, and if you read the module, we actually ran the cistern. And I remember as a DM, I didn't know how far we were going to get, and I was kind of like picking through a list, and I remembered I ran cistern, kind of having skimmed it, as we were getting set up. I didn't do any prep on that one.
Mhm.
And I saw how other people had run it afterwards, and it was a lot more clear and concise. But it was one of those things where no one ended up taking damage. It was kind of just like a big sequence of we run here, then we run here, and we shoot back and stuff like that. So there's a little bit of back and forth and stuff. But it would have added like almost like a whole other episode to Crash and Burn, and I wanted to kind of get us through that. And like honestly, like from where you guys started and where you ended up, it didn't really add anything. Like there wasn't really much character development. You did get a little bit less wheezy, so I apologize. Now I'm gonna get people saying release the wheezy cut. But
like weren't we also in our like 4th hour of recording? And so I think like the energy was
We
like
were
going
all-
real low.
yeah.
So it wasn't a lot.
Yeah.
Like
it was.
better
I think it
what
was the
we
right
did
call.
in the end. Oh yeah, because like
Yeah,
it was.
I think it was. Yeah.
It was the grotesque bundle of animals rolling,
Yeah.
ball rolling down the tunnel, which is terrifying.
Yeah, I think that ended up better. Like just to kind of like put a cap on that. Like as far as I've heard, like that's
Oh yeah,
it, like,
Yeah.
that's a good way to put it.
That's the meat and the potatoes of our
yeah.
of our.
I
appeal.
like table talk. Like I
Yeah.
like it when we kind of go out of the game for a little bit and chat about stuff. Like that's I guess the other thing is like if we do go super off topic, that kind of stuff gets cut. Yeah, I also don't think I try not to cut too many like dead ends because I think that's part of the game. I think sometimes I do. I think if I remember like to the Ghoul saga, I think there was like a couple areas where like someone tried something and it didn't really go anywhere, and then I think I might have cut that back a bit. I can't really remember. But that's the thing. Like,
you've made
dead
me
ends are
sound
still
better.
important.
You've definitely made me sound better. Like when I
Nice.
was like by my like Maris is at the bar and I'm just rambling on and someone's like, please someone stop me, but I can't stop and I'm still talking. Someone
sure.
please fucking stop me right now, but I can't stop myself. And you made it nice and clean. I was like, I didn't sound that good when we recorded.
Sometimes scenes get stitched together, but it's not to change the story or the characters. Yeah, it's more like flow. Yeah.
Story and context are always the same.
Cool.
That's another one of my scenes that I quite enjoy, actually. Like, one of my top scenes is Frostblade.
The one that I cut?
No. No, sorry. You just... Yeah, thanks a lot, asshole. No,
Cutting out Frostblade.
No, it was
Yeah.
after the rescue. It was the scene. It was the scene where Frostblade brings a lady back to Torland to get her saved, specifically just to be like, no, like, save her life because she can be saved.
Alma.
That's like one of those, like, Alma. Yeah. And I was like,
the funny thing,
two Almas. Oh.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I don't know if anyone caught that.
I caught that.
Yeah.
Well, one's Elma and one's Alma, right?
Yeah.
There can only be one, so perfect. Yeah, no, that's the scene that I really quite enjoyed, and kind of made me go like, oh, like, this is Frostblade's deal. Cool. Okay, cool. Excellent.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I really like that. The kind of learning that more about Frostblade. It's all that matters is life.
Yeah.
You know? It's nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not just
one of the things I really like about, like, just I think the way, Dave, how you DM is like, and it's something I like to do when I DM as well, is like once in a while we'll just be like kind of there sitting paying attention to you, and like you're describing a thing and you're like, and then you come across like this pub, what's the name of the pub, and you'll like point to somebody. And like that keeps us on our toes, but also like it's a lot of fun because not only are we learning about like what a place is called or like injecting a little bit of us into the universe, but it's also like an opportunity for you to like learn, oh cool, like now this is a thing in canon, and kind of like speaks to
world,
the way
right?
that we try to like keep things as improv as possible.
Yeah, I think that's fun, and I think you need to balance it, right? Because like there needs to be a world with, foundation and consequences and everything like that. But like leaving some space within that framework, I think is really nice. Like it's not all like make believe fantasy where you just will something into existence. It's like there's some like there's a canvas here with some detail, and you get to fill some of it in. If that makes sense.
Yeah, and it can come out with like some pretty funny outcomes too. Like
I like the idea. Like the islands, I think is something that I really enjoy. Is like the islands exist, and they have culture and they have backstories and everything. But you as players name all the islands.
I'm very excited to see more of that.
Yeah, I think
that's actually something that I don't think was surfaced in a recording. Is Drizzle Drop Island?
No, it's in there. Yeah, it is.
Is it in there? Okay.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it totally is. Yep.
Well, then never mind me.
Edit all of that, please, Dave.
Well, I think. Oh no, yeah, I guess all of the islands are named by you folks. Yeah, because Glade's Edge,
and then Drizzle Drop.
Drizzle Drip? No. No.
I think it's Drizzle Drop because
it's
Drizzle
Drizzle Drop Isle. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just finished listening to it today too, so I should remember. And I was there when we recorded it.
Yeah. It's scary how much you forget, like, because these are done like a few weeks in between, right?
Yeah.
Well, no, that's incorrect.
Well,
we'll do like as often as we can if it's like a single
adventure
arc, right? Or adventure is a better way of describing it. Thanks, Nico.
Well, I kind of feel a little bad for the Monster Hunt folks because they recorded theirs, I think, before Crash and Burn. I thought, Isaac, do you remember?
So it was part of the way through, but it has been a long time to the point where it'll be like trying out Frostblade's voice for the first time again, I think. It's been a while. Yeah.
Have you been practicing?
I think, I sound like this now.
Can we get can you say something funny in Frostblade's voice? Can we get a clip of that?
Can you say something funny? That is the most fucking
make us
Hey, clown, say something
Dance
funny
clown.
for me.
Be clever. Say something about your tum tum.
Say
Yeah.
something
Jester.
spontaneous. Yeah.
Just
Noise. That's all I got.
Nice.
Wait, so how does Frostglade eat? Does he just lay out in the sun?
I don't think we know that yet. He did. I think he ate some stew once, but I don't know if we went into it. He might have just dipped his finger in it and sat there. Yes, we'll never know.
He's getting a manicure. He's getting his cuticles
like
done.
E.T.? Like,
Yes.
Like a spa. Just
Oh damn! That brings a lot of like questions to mind. Like, what happens if a Sylvaneth like eats like?
and if
plant
there's
material?
Sylvanas? Oh.
No,
no, that's
No.
called cannibalism, and it works the same
That's-
for humans.
that's relatively
compost,
clear.
yeah.
cut.
It's just as taboo. Yeah.
Does he
No, I was-
trim his little branches?
Does he
Oh,
grow
that's-
other Frostglades?
Yeah, there's
out
so
of
much to
branches?
be
Yeah.
answered that
Can-
you now
can
have
you-
to think about.
I want to make
These
a
are really personal questions, guys. Don't bring this up with him. It's super rude.
Does Frostglade trim his bush?
Oh my God,
you were just
David!
waiting. I
What
was
we're
about to
trying to
say
add-
I wanted to make a rose bush Sylvanas, and then you
Nice.
just ruined it.
Can't
Does
play that
Frostblade-
character anymore.
Nope.
Yeah.
I just want Maris to hang a hammock. I've said it about 1,000,000 times. I'm going to say it again. At some point, Maris is going to hang a hammock from it, and we're going to like have a nice little scene
From it,
from him.
from that fucking thing over there.
This horrifying monster will now serve as my personal hammock
Holy
rest.
crap.
Oh,
You'll get your chance.
Just
Thanks.
He's
point
gonna
and
stand still a
delete.
lot. Yeah, exactly. They can't feel pain.
It's okay. He's not a person.
on a cold night when they need some firewood. I'm sorry.
Oh my goodness. Well, I was
Wow.
gonna say, is there anything? I think we're coming up to the end.
No,
We're
don't
talking about.
don't cut it that, please.
Super good ending, Dylan. Thank you. Really
And
appreciate
yeah,
that.
great.
Any last little comments or questions before we want to wrap this thing up?
Dave, are you having fun?
I'm having a lot of fun.
Nice.
I'm having a lot of fun. It's tough. Like I think I've alluded to this in the Discord, but it is a lot of work. But it's really rewarding seeing people. Like we have some fans, which is like a weird thing to say, but it's really nice.
It's not weird. I mean, it is.
No, it's an
It's-
unusual feeling if you're not used to it.
And it's because like this is something that we are all creating together, and to see other people
Mhm.
enjoy it is very rewarding. And like having people
Yeah.
ask questions and being engaged, like the engagement, like I'm new to this, but just even having just a few people engaged or like chatting about it in the Age of Sigmar Discord, it's like, oh man, people like us. They really do.
Well, it's
Just let
nice
me
and
balance out
that's
that. Let me balance out those good
Yeah.
feelings. My brother-in-law tried us out. It wasn't his thing.
Is that what he
This is
said?
family.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it, like
Thanks,
Yeah, it's-
thanks for bringing me down there, Isaac.
That's hilarious. What's his name? I
Anytime.
wanna call him out.
No, but I think that's what makes it so enjoyable is like, it's not scripted. I'm just being myself and not giving a shit, which probably, well, I give a shit because I show up, but I mean, like, I'm not
I hope so.
Wow.
I don't even care if it's fun.
I would fucking like being here doing this.
I mean, I don't care how I'm perceived. I mean, I do, but like, that's,
I care a lot.
I'm just gonna, I'm gonna, like,
what are you trying to say?
please,
Dylan.
this is one of
Dylan.
the situations where you can just stop me. Stop me.
Dylan's just like, yeah, I'm just doing this until fucking Shadowland comes out.
Oh, it
Help
sounded
somebody.
like I was crying.
This is just another cry for help.
If we could get a snort, that would have been ideal.
I actually like choked one back. Oh, fuck.
Dave. Yeah!
And on that note,
I hate you all.
All right, happy holidays, everybody.
Happy
We'll be back next
happy
week with
holidays.
another
Happy New
episode.
Year.
Take care.
take care, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Take care, everybody.